In our district, we have what's called the Vision of the Learner. That's where we went out and we ask our parents, we ask community members, what do you want your children to leave Duncanville with?
And our Vision of the Learner is what drives everything that we do for students in Duncanville ISD, but what I noticed is there's some disconnect. We were really good at making sure our standards were being taught and making sure our students got the content as deeply as they needed, but I didn't see that collaboration, the communication, the leadership really being developed as much as it should be. And then in comes the engaged learning model.
So when you do follow Engage's learning model, you know that the projects that are being designed not only are engaging, but they're aligned with the standard. This is what we know accomplishes the vision of the learner. We do know that traditional classrooms do not accomplish the vision of the learner.
It has been a lot of work. It's been a lot of commitment. It's staying the course even when it's tough, because it's just what's right for kids.
Duncanville ISD, over the past 2 years, the most obvious area of growth is student autonomy. Students are taking ownership of their own learning. You can see that they are the ones responsible.
It's definitely been a shift. It's almost like turning the classroom upside down in a way, because it's a total change in who's directing the learning. So instead of standing up in front of the classroom and very vocally directing what's going on, it's the students coming in and guiding, okay, for my project, I need to know this. And just having that be the driving factor for what's leading the learning.
I've been most impressed to see the kids try out new web tools. Many times our teachers are fearful. They'll say, well, I don't know how to use that. And we just reassure them, open it up, allow the kids the access, and they will figure it out for themselves.
I think that I see myself as more of a person that's guiding the kids versus just giving them the information. And I think I've matured in the sense that, you know, there are things that the kids can do on their own that sometimes we want to do for them.
And sometimes they even come up stuff that's new to me that they'll discover and share with me. I've had that happen a lot of times when my kids have taken what they learned from a workshop and added to it to the point where I'm actually learning from them through the process. And that's great.
Coming from a traditional district, I have noticed that the engaged learning model has excited my students. They're engaged from the beginning of the protocol until the very end, create and share day of the protocol. They're excited about learning. I don't think I would teach any other way from this point. The engaged model has helped me grow as a teacher, and I have gotten out of my comfort zone as far as lecturing to the class.
Whenever I would talk to the students my first year here on campus before we implemented, they welcomed my interruption. This year, what I've noticed, and even last year once we started implementing the engaged learning model, I felt like I was disturbing them because they were so enthralled in what they were researching or either discussing in their groups.
I think I've seen the kids really come to life more. They're excited to come to school, they're excited to come to my class, they know what we're working on, they want to do it. And just from the beginning of the year, looking at that level of maturity, I mean, they walked in still third graders. And now we're getting to the point where you can see, okay, they're getting it and they are understanding what they're doing. They're applying real life concepts. They see the validity in what they're doing and they understand why we're asking them to do it.
One case in particular, I had this student that transferred in from another district. He came in with a very low average, a failing average. He's one of my top performers now. He consistently scores high on the test, and his projects, he loves the whole process of doing the projects.
When I first came here, I was really shy, and now I express myself and I tell my ideas to other people, and I'm not really shy anymore.
I really never fully understood what the 4 C's looked like until I began to work with the engaged learning model. One thing that the engaged learning model affords students to do is to receive constructive feedback not only from their teacher, but from their peers as well.
But in third grade, I would just like, once I found my answer, I would be like, oh, let me just write this down. I know what it is, I know what it is. But you really cannot do that. You have to like sum it in your own words, tell it in your point of view.
And it's social interaction. They're working as a team. One is doing something while the other one, and then they're all bringing it together. Vocabulary, just fluency. I have newcomers that are really good in listening, but they also been talking. And so it's been really good for building language for my bilingual students.
We have like a workshop request where we put what we need, and that's how it has told me that I'm not alone learning it all by myself. That now, because I used to think that way.
Kids really have freedom to be creative. I think that's primarily because they have choice. It's not teacher directed. The kids are able to choose.
What I have noticed in regards to our office referrals is the students that are in those engaged learning model classrooms are not getting as many office referrals.
Having the kids actually have their own individual work that they're responsible for has been a really big help in the way that it's keeping them accountable for their behavior, and also just their teammates are able to keep them accountable for their work.
This year I noticed a lot of students that had problems working with other students. They're actually sharing ideas together. They're learning how to resolve their conflicts without going to an adult, so they're, coming up with different solutions on their own.
These students will be able to take these skills into their community and their world. I would definitely say that the students in Duncanville are the students who are preparing to be the leaders to make a difference in their world.
To see the students really, truly engaged in the work that they're doing and not just being compliant.
It's just completely changed my life. I absolutely love teaching in the engaged model.
And I see a lot more engagement in all my classes.
It's stress-free, and I'm happier than ever as a teacher.
It's been an uncomfortable shift, I think, at first, but I love it, and I don't think I would go back.
I feel like I've done a lot of work and I feel proud of myself.